Hello, this is Lucas again, and in this video I'm gonna explain you or try to explain you what model in Ruby on Rails is and how to use it basically. So we have this concept in pretty much any language or most languages these days, which is called model view controller. So first element of that set is the model. So what model really is? Well, model in the simplest term defines our noun. So think about it this way: if we have a collection of people, all right, every person is an instance of a model. So it defines what's our name, maybe our height, how much we weigh, where we're from, etc., etc. It defines us. It really defines what we are, and also defines what we can do. So the model really is the description of the thing, okay? And also in the model in Ruby on Rails, we can give that model special abilities, like the things that this model is able to do. So let's look at the example. First, let's create a model here. And I'm just created a new app. There is absolutely nothing in it. It's just Ruby. So it's just Rails new application. So Rails, that's the name of the application. So if you run this code, you pretty much generate exactly what I have right now. So let's make the Rails generate our model, and let's interact with that model a little bit so you can have a better understanding of this first building block of our Rails application. So Rails generate model, and we use capital letter to generate model. So let's generate model and call it user. So user singular, capital first letter. And we have this way of generating models where we can give them more attributes during the generation, but of course we can add later more attributes as we go. So I'll give this user a name, and that will be string. And I'll give him bio, and that will be text. So the difference between text and string is that the text can be very, very long, and string is limited to something around 200 characters. So name, bio, and maybe age, and that will be an integer. So integer is just a normal number. So from 1, 2, 3, etc., 0, or minus 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, so if I run this generator, it created for us a migration file, and this is an instruction for our application to update the SQL database we're using, or non-SQL database. No, actually, no SQL database don't need migrations. Okay, that's a good one. And our definition of a model. Okay, so those are two most important things that we want to look at. So let's have a look at the migration file first. So if we open our project in editor, I'm using Sublime, but you can use any other editor of your choice. If you go to app and then models, you will see this new file here. It's called user.rb. So in Ruby on Rails, or Ruby, we open definition of our model with this class declaration, and we close it with end. The thing that you need to understand about Ruby on Rails applications, or Rails applications, or most of the different languages actually, is that you can pretty much write the whole program in one file. So in theory, this declaration of what the user is doesn't need to be in a separate file. It can be on one file. So we can have another class theoretically defined here, I don't know, or whatever, and that can also be a very, very similar thing actually. And that would kind of make sense, but it's extremely messy and there is no guarantee it's going to work. But the thing is, what I really wanted to let you know is that this end is meaningful. So everything, this is where everything starts. All our declaration of what the user really is, what it can do, it starts here, and this is where it ends. So everything we're going to put here is going to define our user. Okay, everything that you're going to put here is going to be totally meaningless, and it's going to, well, maybe not meaningless, but it's not going to be a user definition. Okay, so let's look at the migration file now. In db migrate, there is this new file, and it's basically instruction to update the database. So there is a couple of fields that the Rails application will add for us. First one is the name. We defined the name. It's going to be a string. There's going to be a bio, text, and also age. Rails will also put a couple other things. For example, timestamps. So there are two fields that this will generate. First is created at and updated at. And every time we play with our record, updated at and created at will be, well, those fields will be affected. And also we'll create an ID. So every record in our database will have its own ID. Okay, so that's it. And let's migrate the database. So let's update our existing database using this file. And this is extremely easy. You just go back to your bash and type this command, rake db migrate. That's it. That's all we needed to do. No SQL, nothing. And we have our user model is already inside of our database, so we can now interact with it. And we're not going to build any user interface, any website. We're going to interact from the command line. So I want to show you how this works. So let's open the console, Rails console, or C for short. And now we're running our application. So we're going to have access to all of this data here, all of those files and all of those methods, objects, controllers, etc. from the command line. So let's create new instance of our model. So let's save it in a user variable. So this is a name. We can pick any other name. So Tom or whatever equals, and then we're going to call a class method. So our class is user. Okay, that's the name of the class that we created before, right here. Okay, and we're gonna run a class method on our class, and the class that method is new. Okay, and new basically gonna create new instance of that model. So think about it this way: the class name means a type of a thing. Okay, so user means collection of users, every user. It's just a template for us. Okay, so if that was a person, or it's more like a human, okay, human type. But if you want to create Tom, who is an instance of a human type, then you would just do it this way. You use your template basically, and you run some command on it like new or create, and you're going to pass some attributes to it. We're going to give it a name. Okay, and again, we define that our user will have a name. So you can see it here, we defined it before. So there is a place for this in the database. So we'll give it Tom, and then comma, we can add another attribute. We give it an age. And age is, say, 29. So Tom is 29. And if I press enter, that saved our user to memory. Okay, it didn't save it to the database yet because new doesn't save it to the database. It saves it to the memory, so now we can interact with it. But we need still, if we want to keep it in the database, we still need to save that. So notice that I didn't give him a bio, although I can. But this time I said, well, I don't need a bio, it's going to be too long. So I just give him name and the age. But if I want to add bio right now, I can do it this way. Tom.bio equals Tom was born in Poland. Okay, so I save that. And now our Tom got this bio assigned to him. It's still in the memory, we still didn't save it. But if I say Tom dot bio, I get this back. So it's already there. And if I say Tom dot age, I get 29 because that's what we said his age was. So let's commit Tom and let's save into the database and do a little bit more to it. So Tom dot save, enter. Okay, so now our Rails application ran a whole bunch of SQL code to save our model. So now if I say user dot count, we get 1 because we just created one user. Now, so this is very, very basic. Like, this is how we can interact with our user or our model. But how about we want to give some special abilities to our model? Okay, it's very easy. Let's exit from here for now because we have to reload it anyway. And let's go back to our editor. Okay, we can close this now. We don't need it. Here, where we have our class user. This is definition of our user. You can find it under models, user.rb. So here we can give him some special abilities. First of all, how about we give him, what ability can we give to Tom? We can give Tom ability to return his age or tell us how old he is. So we can do it. We define method for that user, and it's going to be called instance method. So we can only run it on the instance of the class. So not the class itself. So we cannot type user dot something, but we have to create Tom, something like Tom, and then we can run it on Tom. So I'll show you what the difference is in a different episode. So don't worry about it if you don't follow right now. So def how old is, just how old, okay? And okay. So now we're gonna give some code to execute here, and that code, if we run this command on our user or instance of a user, we're gonna get this code executed. So we can simply say, we start with a string. Ruby is extremely flexible language. So we can say I'm, okay, and we add to it self age, and then old. So basically we'll put those two strings and we'll add age to that string. So if we save this and we go back and we start our console again, and remember to restart it. Oh, sorry, not Rails S, it's Rails C for console. And we need to find that user. So let's say user, or let's come Tom again, equals user last. So make sure if you ask for the whole class, you always use capital letter. So, and last basically means just give me the last result. And because I know there's only one, last it's gonna do. Okay, so now we know we have Tom in our variable called Tom, and we can now call the method on that instance of the user class. So this is the name of the method. So we can go simply type Tom dot how old. Oh, okay, so there is an error we're getting, and the error means we cannot convert fixed num into a string. It's because the age is not a string. So we cannot add string with integer and a string. So we need to call simply toS, which will convert our number to a string. And then we can add those three strings together. Okay, so now we need to exit our console and do it again. And now we can say Tom equals user.last, just like before. And now we can call this method Tom how old. And Tom is 29 years old. That's it. So we gave this special ability to Tom to just say how old he is. But there is a lot more we can do. We can give ability to user to send an email, or form a connection with someone, or a whole bunch of different things. But that's the simplest way how we can do it. I hope that clarified a little bit what the model is. Just to reiterate, model defines what something is and what abilities does it have. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you what controller is, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we talk a little bit about the view. So then we have a whole package model view controller. We talk a little bit about routes, and then how those three things fit together. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.